Hi, obviously I'm not an artist, and in this log I'm going to be displaying and discussing every miniature I painted in 2024. Happy New Year, by the way. This is the second end of year review I've done. Last year's became the first video on the channel to get over 200 views, and is still my longest video, and I'm very proud of it. In it, I displayed all 73 minis I painted that calendar year, and discussed the techniques used. Will I beat that total? Will it be over 21 minutes? Let's find out. Minis 1 and 2 of 2024 are two Blood Angels Outriders, the fast attack motorcycles, making them the equivalent of Space Marine cavalry. Traditionally, an Outrider squad is 3 bags, but I painted the Sergeant in 2023, and therefore these two complete the squad. They have seen some play last year, and have been moderately successful in capturing objectives and bothering slow-moving units, and now they have new rules, which look awesome. I have designs on doing another squad in 2025, but in a different scheme, so watch this space and my Warhammer Combat Patrol mini painting log for more Outrider outdates. Mini number 3 is Commander Dante. Dante, who is the chapter master of the Blood Angels and a very important character in the lore, was displayed in the Blood Angels character video, which is mini painting log number 21. Dante ranks amongst my best painted models, and when I'm asked in RL what is miniature painting, a question I'm frequently asked when you tell people you paint as a hobby, I usually use an image of Dante if I have a device to hand. Despite the striking pose, it was a relatively simple model to paint, and I think that is by design. Mini number 4 is a Sanguinary priest with jump pack. This recent addition to Legends is made up of the old apothecary from the Firstborn Command Squad, with a now discontinued jump pack and a chalice and a pauldron from the old Blood Angels upgrade sprue. These style of Blood Angels only combat medic were previously popular due to their fast moving, buffing abilities and decent melee. But when the new codex was released, Games Workshop brought out a new priest model, but admitted its ability to take a jump pack. The new mini is a definite improvement over the previous one, what with its strange spiky collar that a friend of mine commented that made it look like Ming the Merciless. But the lack of 12-inch movements means it can't lead and support assault intercessors with jump packs, which is a very much missed opportunity for some effective unit synergy. This model is very small, so to add height I added some cork to the base and covered it in texture paint. Around the same time I was painting the priest, I was also painting mini number 5, Brother Corbulo, the high sanguinary priest. Like Dante, it was displayed in the Blood Angels character video. The now discontinued mini is made from fine cast resin and is only 2 pieces, body and backpack. As I had a fair idea that it was going to be either discontinued or remade, I didn't give it a bigger base to compensate for the fact that it wouldn't see tabletop time. If any viewers know whether Brother Corbulo is still alive in the lore, can you please let me know in the comments, as I know he was present at the Devastation of Baal, but not much beyond that. Mini 6 is the Sanguinary, and not the new one. I was able to get one game out of this unit before release of the new sculpt and perform the deep strike heroic intervene that is the coolest ability it has. It is the 40k equivalent of an RKO out of nowhere. This small fine cast resin was displayed too in the Blood Angels character video. As I stated in that video, the wings were a pain to do and I don't like the way they came out. But as the time has passed, I figured out where I went wrong. Unlike the feather effect wings of the old Sanguinary Guard, where I could use Apothecary White or watered down Dragonov Nightshade to achieve depth, the Sanguinary's wings are nowhere near as layered, so the technique didn't work here. And unfortunately, I really dislike any image I've seen of the new sculpt and aren't looking to purchase it. Probably, therefore, I won't revisit this experience. But I might be cutting my nose off to spite my face here. 7th mini also can be seen in the Blood Angels character video, but is only a Blood Angel on a technicality. Lieutenant Talmoran is a Primaris Lieutenant, one of many, but has no abilities that differentiate it from any other type of model in that role. The completionist in me was happy, as completing this one saw the Blood Angels character range finished. Well, up until the recent lackluster refresh at least. The Judiciar, who represents mini number 8, also represents the beginning of the end of my Indomitus box set for 9th edition, as it was the penultimate character model from that set. But I confess I only got it painted to bolster numbers for the Chaplain video. Judiciar is a junior chaplain of sorts who has taken a vow of silence and carries the Executioner's blade, a huge two-handed flat-faced broadsword, and also has a time-shifting hourglass that lets it always strike first. Painting this was an enjoyable experience, largely due to the brown robes. Dryad Bark and Moorfound Brown are amongst one of my favourite paints to work with. First and only flyer this year for Mini 8, the Stormhawk Interceptor, which was present in the Space Marine Flyers video. This video has just over 100 views and underperformed despite references to every single flyer at the time. So if you're interested in seeing some Space Marine aircraft, give the video a view, it certainly needs it. Flyers have never really worked in 40k, acting often as easily targetable transports, or in the case of the Stormhawk, easily targetable gun turrets. Shape and aesthetics of the actual models is manipulated by how the box art uses a very deliberate isometric perspective to make it appear more dynamic than it actually is. This can probably be traced to the fact that the kit doubles for both the Stormhawk Interceptor and the Storm Talon gunship, and while both are aircraft, they do fulfill different roles in warfare, miniature tabletop warfare. Minis 9 to 19 are a 10-man squad of Space Marine heroes that make up a tactical squad. Originally, Space Marine Heroes Season 1 were coloured as Ultramarines and manufactured in blue polymer. These upscale push-fit minis were then later re-released last year in red and rebranded as Blood Angels and sold in the blank bag format as Season 4. These are really nice models with sculpted industrial themed bases. There is a strong chance that these might be the last of the Firstborn Marines to have a full release. I brought all the full line to guarantee I got all possible models, but I have got some repeats, which I'm sure I can use for dioramas or more videos or such. Back with the vehicles for models 20 and 21, the Space Marine ATVs that have replaced the older attack bikes have their fans, to which I can be counted as one, but also their detractors. Frequently being labelled as looking like grim dark Mario Kart assets, the ATVs can be added to an Outrider squad, providing more wounds to the unit, but also better firepower, as I've modelled both versions with an anti-vehicle multi-melter and a anti-infantry Gatling cannon respectively. The push-fit aspect of the Mini isn't good, as the peg's diameter are too close to the hull's diameter, causing an abundance of force to be delivered on several components during construction. But painting these aren't too dissimilar to the Outrider bikes, which obviously makes sense. As an aside, it was these models that I'd noticed I was dangerously close to running out of 4th Company Blood Drop decals. I have since overcome this issue by setting white blood drops and painting over with green. From fast-moving armour to slow-moving armour, Minis 22 to 24 are Space Marine Aggressors. Aggressors are Gravis-mounted fire support infantry armed with either twin bolt gauntlets or twin flame gauntlets, giving short-range multi-shot shooting and some solid punching power in melee. The Aggressors and Gravis armour is referred to in the channel's most popular video, Space Marine Armour and Armoured Space Marines. Gravis armour is fun to paint, which is good, as I have 6 more Aggressors to paint in the future. If you watched last year's end of year review, I referenced my summer project during 2023 was a small Adeptus Sororitas force. And while in the obviously I'm not an artist painting log timeline, we haven't reached the summer yet, I have not painted any more units for this force yet, and neither will I, but I will paint some allies. Mini 25 is Inquisitor Greyfax. Greyfax was in the later issues of Warhammer Imperium, which is where I got my copy of it from. Probably the smallest 40k mini I've painted to date. I used the painting guide in the issue. As Greyfax is an important character in the lore, it didn't feel right to deviate from the official scheme. I may have not correctly assembled the stovepipe hat, but because this mini is so small, thankfully it's not really noticeable. This also hasn't seen any tabletop time, and honestly I don't know how you would effectively use a model such as this, tactically or effectively. Staying with Imperial allies, Mini 26 is Lord Inquisitor Dracus. Another popular and important character in the lore, Inquisitor Dracus is a busy model with lots of different stuff going on, like the Eldari shuriken weapon and what seems to be a perched dragon on its arm. Again, I did my best to follow the official scheme in that issue it came in. However, I didn't get any depth on the dragon's wings, so I did some stippling, and I feel it came out quite nice. The only Necrons painted this year are minis 27 to 29, the Nephidian Destroyers, as seen in the Necron Destroyer painting log. The usual painting scheme on display here, and not much more to say than they really underperformed in the one game they had this year. I may have used them wrong. Comments below if anyone knows how to maximise these units in the game. The squad that makes up minis 30 to 35 are a long time coming, my Blood Angels Terminator squad. Not the new minis, but a collection of Space Marine heroes, 3rd edition Space Hulk Terminators, and a captain posing as a sergeant. We have Brother Leon with the Assault Cannon, Brother Valencio with a Chain Fist, and Brother Noctis with a stern index finger from Space Hulk. Brother Dariel with his trusty Servo Skull, and Brother Phalo standing on what appears to be a 1970s water heater. Leading this motley crew is the former Space Marine Terminator captain that I demoted to sergeant due to his weapon loadout and external pressure from Captain Carlian. Lots of fun painting Terminators due to their reliquary and drip. I have 5 more lightning cooled Terminators to paint in 2025 and 5 newer Terminators for the combat patrol logs, but they will be in the flesh tier schemes. It's summertime, which means for the Obviously I'm Not an Artist channel, a big project, and it doesn't get more bigger in polymer than an Imperial Knight for miniature 36. The Knight was purchased as an ally for last year's Sister of Battle summer project. I picked House Terran for a scheme, largely because I bought a can of Macragge spray primer and wanted to use it. The armour plates were sprayed this colour and base Macragge blue and recessed washed with Dragunov Nightshade. The skeleton was primed black and dried brush silver and washed black. For the trim I used Retributor armour washed with Aggressors shade and highlighted Stormhost silver. Very simple stuff so far. However, the decals. Now this was an exercise in patience, especially around the leg armour. Honestly, big decals are in many ways more difficult to work with than small ones, and big complex shaped decals are the pinnacle of frustration. All in though, the Imperial Knight summer project felt like a success. It now needs some armatures to raise it to a 750 point force. Minis 37 and 38 are plain old Space Marine Intercessors, but painted in Blood Angels and Dark Angel schemes respectively. This was for my Angels of Death video, whilst despite putting a lot of effort into it, include filming some actual painting, it didn't pay off, as there's less than 130 views at time of writing. Mini Bugs with a Mini Queen for 39 to 46 as a blatant tie-in for Alien Romulus, a movie that I have feelings about. The minis are from the tabletop game Aliens Another Glorious Day in the Core. Very short video, and I probably could have done the Colonial Marines for that game too, but apparently there are more Alien movies in the works, so I'll save them for that. Impulse Spy from Cardiff Firestorm Games for Mini 47, the Sicarian Venator, a Horus Heresy tank that sits in the Legends category for 40k, despite what they originally said about supporting them with rules and updates, etc. Thankfully, my opponents for games of 40k are the types of sorts that indulge my inclusion of weird tanks, despite having a melee-focused army. Like last year's Kratos Assault tank, it's just a smaller version of that model anyway, I apparently must paint at least one 30k miniature a year, and it must be a tank? Mini 48 was the last model I finished before I started the Combat Patrol painting log, and it was one I wanted to paint for a while, the Captain and Gravis armour with a heavy bolt rifle, the shooty Gravis Captain. It's a really nice mini and will be a nice addition to my slowly emerging Gravis force. The plan is to have it lead a 10-man heavy Intercessor gun line, especially now the rifles have gone damaged too. It was a little tricky to paint, specifically trying to get the lining of the cloak, so it was done with more sub-assemblies than I would have liked. As I have dedicated videos to the Combat Patrol models, I will lump them into factions and roles, and do not display any models that are completed but don't yet have a video. So starting with the Space Marine characters, this includes the Flesh Terrorist Captain, exclusive for Warhammer Imperial Captain, a Blood Angels Blade Guard Ancient, and a Librarian in Terminator armor. And some Space Marine inventory such as the Blood Angels Infernus Marines, and the Flesh Tearers Assault Intercessors, and a single Silver Templar Intercessor Sergeant. Tyranid models include the character HQ as a Tyranid Prime, and inventory in the bioforms as the stealthy Von Ryan Leapers, the creepy and scuttling Termagants, and the creepier and scuttlier Ripper Swarms, and the organic artillery Barbgaunts. As the festive season landed and my work powered down, I completed a 5-man heavy intercessor squad. So overall minis in 2024 was 88, 15 up from 2023 and 12 down from 2022. Any years prior to that I haven't recorded them. In regard to 2025, I'll be focusing on completing the combat patrols in the Hachette subscription, but also look to do anything in the Firstborn Space Marine line or unpainted models that I have and have been sent to Legends. More Blood Angels infantry with the overall goal of completing the 4th company. Thank you for the support and feedback this year. Any time spent watching my videos is greatly appreciated. The channel recently reached 100 subscribers. Many thanks for this too, and a happy new year.